Open this letter. Dear Bubsamo, I hope this doesn't sound too weird, but I'm a huge fan of your reviews. So, I was wondering, could you please do a video on the Phineas and Ferb Christmas Vacation special? It's honestly one of my favorite Christmas specials ever. The songs are incredible, the humor is spot on, and Doofenshmirtz's Naughty-nator is low-key genius. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, and maybe see if it holds up as well as I think it does. Anyway, just throwing it out there. Keep up the awesome content, you always make me laugh. Sincerely, Bort? Well, that's a fantastic but oddly specific question, handsome stranger. Yes, I remember this special very fondly. This is the one where Christmas gets canceled because everyone was naughty, right? Well, I mean naughty in quotations, but I was a big fan of this special back then. But to be honest, I don't think I've watched this in like 5 years minimum. But on a serious note, I have a great fondness for Phineas and Ferb, and I think it's one of the greatest cartoons of my generation. Well, actually, the show is older than me, but I think you catch my drift. The show premiered on August 17th, 2007, after the premiere of High School Musical. The show became instantly successful after its first season, and ended up surpassing the usual episode count of Disney shows at the time. So it's no surprise that the show has delved into some unique topics in its long run. The Phineas and Ferb wiki states that there were only 2 Christmas specials, but I remember there being an episode where the boys create snow during the summer and do a Christmas in July sort of thing. But anyways, the 2 official Christmas specials are Christmas Vacation and Family Christmas, which I will cover next year if this video does well. But this year, let's take a look at one of the greatest Christmas specials of all time, Phineas and Ferb Christmas Vacation. This special starts off with a Christmas version of the usual intro. I must say, it's a very nice rendition to the theme we're used to. I'm especially a big fan of the, well, they can't all be fun line. It's the morning of Christmas Eve, and Phineas and Ferb are shown flying through the air on their plow beds, which, according to them, they created because they wanted a fun thing they could do without leaving their beds. But wouldn't you need to get out of your bed to build something like this, or am I just overthinking it? We find out Candace's dilemma about how she wants to get Jeremy the perfect gift while on call with Linda, who does not care in the slightest. Candace visits the boys, who tells her about how writing a letter to Santa is on their to-do list, which Candace thinks is just hilarious, even though Phineas and Ferb are probably 10 years old. Candace only stops laughing when she finds out that she can use this as an opportunity to find out what to get Jeremy. Meanwhile, Perry shows up at the Alka Christmas party, and Monogram gives him the task to visit Doof and see what the hell he's doing. Back at the house, Candace calls Jeremy and proposes the idea of writing a letter to Santa, which I guess he agrees to. I'm not really sure. At least she gives us one of the best musical numbers in the series. Although Candace thought she could get by writing tickets twice on that wheel without me noticing. Well, think again. You can't just slip this kind of thing past me. Phineas shows the gang a rest stop he made for Father Christmas, or the ultimate rest and relaxation round for the perfectly tailored to the I'm not reading all that, which is actually pretty cool. Phineas asks the gang if they remember writing letters to Santa, which they do.
Letters to Santa?
Doof explains to Perry that although he's an evil scientist with a tragic past, he actually doesn't have anything against Christmas, and sings a song about that, which is tied with Candace's song for my favorite in this special. It's really close. My one nitpick with this song is that there is no April 21st on the calendar that Doof showed. Like, it's just not there. Phineas and Ferb stand up on a podium and announce their fantastic plan to cover Danville in wrapping paper. Back at Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated, it's so hard to say it without the jingle, a group of carolers show up at the door and start singing, but after they say to give them figgy pudding, they keep repeating, "We won't stop until we get some," over and over again, which engenders Doof to fire the Naughty-nator.
Can I at least get a diet soda?
Because of the Naughty-nator, the whole town is stamped as naughty on the North Pole satellites. I couldn't have been the only one to think that the original purpose of the Naughty-nator was to turn the town naughty, but it really doesn't. Everyone is still good, except for Buford, but he's always like that, so I think all this machine does is interfere with the North Pole satellites, which honestly isn't that impressive. It's still a cool device, but compared to some other of Doof's machines, this one is way less of a technical marvel. But fortunately enough, Phineas wakes up and it turns out it was all a dream.
No matter how many times you try that, it's not going to work.
Maybe if I hadn't gotten out of bed today, I wouldn't have done the thing Santa thought was naughty.
So what? Are you going to stay here for the rest of your life?
Why not?
Well, for one, the mall closes in 20 minutes.
Buford has this idea that you can do whatever you want all year, and you'll still get on the nice list as long as you do a last-minute selfless act, which fits him perfectly. But to be completely honest, Buford isn't even that bad. He's kind of a jerk to his friends since he's a bully after all. But overall, I don't think he's done enough to be put on the naughty list per se. Candace and Jeremy are at the mall, and Candace sorta implies the gift thing, but isn't very straightforward about it, so Jeremy is just like, what are you doing? Phineas gets the idea to make a special broadcast expressing how good Danville citizens are, in hope of reaching the North Pole. But back at the lab, Doof finds figgy pudding in his fridge and hands it to the carolers, and it's actually quite a lot of figgy pudding. I'm surprised he just found it in there like it's a completely normal thing. Phineas and the gang are... There's like kind of a voice crack there. Phineas and the gang are cleaning up the materials used in the broadcast, and Phineas asks if there's a chance that the elves of the North Pole had heard it. Then two little elves just stroll on in, and Phineas says, I'd say pretty good. Have I been quoting too much? Perry starts trying to escape his trap when the Sal Tuscany CD he got from his Secret Santa falls onto the floor. Doofenshmirtz spots it and starts to play it. Phineas introduces Blaine and Cluent as two of Santa's elves, to which Candace replies, you've got to be kidding me. So with all this fantasy stuff happening, you catch my drift, I thought I would bring this up, since this might be the only time I discuss Phineas and Ferb on this channel. Dan once said on YouTube Shorts, Dan is the creator by the way, that Phineas and Ferb were able to afford their inventions because they charged other kids to ride the roller coaster in the original episode. But that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Even if Phineas and Ferb charged $1 million per rider, I guarantee that it wouldn't be enough to pay for their inventions. I'm 70% sure. Perry's hat is making the sound that Monogram's watch was making earlier, and a screen pops out of his hat and Monogram appears on that screen, telling Perry that Carl didn't give Perry the Sal Tuscany CD and to not play it. Doofenshmirtz conveniently decides to increase the volume as he listens to We Wish You a Merry Christmas, which has grown on him. Suddenly, Sal Tuscany sings Christmas Cannot Be Destroyed, Not Even by a Naughtyinator. This then causes the Naughtyinator to break. Okay, now this is the part that really pisses me off. Phineas asks Isabella if there was a Christmas wish that she was afraid of losing, to which she replied that she doesn't celebrate Christmas, but Hanukkah was excellent. Okay, so according to Isabella, she doesn't celebrate Christmas, but in this exact special, when Phineas asked the gang if they remember writing letters to Santa, Isabella explicitly says that she did. You can play back in this video, or the special itself. She said that she writes letters to Santa. Was the crew on crack or something? And Isabella is Jewish since she celebrates Hanukkah, right? Like, do you need to be Jewish to celebrate Hanukkah? I'm actually kind of an idiot. Phineas asks the elves if they really seem like bad kids, to which Blaine replies that everyone was marked as nice, except for Buford. Phineas asks that the elves contact Santa and tell him to come up to Danville, but the elves quickly shoot down that idea. Phineas decides to bring Christmas to Danville and hops in his sleigh, and also gives everyone jobs to do. After the sky turns menacing, Buford hops out the sleigh and tells everyone to turn their Christmas lights back on. Jeremy appears on the computer and Candace says, nah guys, I got this. I don't know if I mentioned this, but earlier, Bolgit said that he wanted a kiss under the mistletoe, and in this scene, he falls off the sleigh, goes down this girl's chimney, and let's go, our boy just got a kiss. Perry is now seen jumping out the window, and Doofenshmirtz mutters to himself that he hates Christmas. He then realizes what he just said, and cheers because he has gotten his Christmas wish, to be able to hate Christmas. When the sleigh arrives at the house, Phineas sees steam coming out the chimney, and it turns out that Father Christmas himself is there. Back at the lab, Doofenshmirtz calls his Uncle Justin to thank him for the Naughtyinator plans, looks at the package closely, and realizes the package says Barneo, not Borneo. The operator tells him that Borneo is in the North Pole. Looking closely at the smashed CD on the floor, he sees that the letters of A. Sal Tuscany can be rearranged to spell Santa Claus, with an embarrassing leftover Y in the mix. Jeremy gives Candace a pair of earrings, and when Candace asks how he was able to afford it, Jeremy says that he sold his guitar. Candace hands Jeremy his present, which is a silver guitar that he wanted, which Candace got from selling her earrings. Phineas says that he thought Santa wasn't coming to Danville, to which Santa says that he wouldn't want to miss out on the cool rest stop Phineas had made. Santa asks if he can have the clubhouse, and Buford blurts out, I knew it was a clubhouse! Then we get the best joke of the special, in which Phineas asks Ferb what his Christmas wish was, and Ferb shows him the newspaper, which reads the headline, World Peace. But then, in the bottom corner of the paper, there's a picture of Ferb playing a harmonica with the headline, Local Boy Gets Harmonica. You know, there are a lot of great moments in this episode, but this one has to take the cake for me. Okay, So in conclusion, is this special the greatest of all time? Is it among the greats? Well, I mean, I'd say it's up there as one of the funniest Christmas specials I've ever seen, definitely top 10, although regarding it as one of the greatest specials of all time, maybe pushing it a little. I obviously exaggerated a bit in the title, like I think the special would be a lot better if it was around 20 to 30 minutes longer and had a more theatrical feel, but I guess at that point, it's just a whole nother special. In retrospect, however, I'd say this was an overall good special with 2 amazing songs that I would even consider some of the greatest in the show, however that is up for debate, but I would probably say they are. But yeah, that's all for today's video. I know a lot of people will be asking me about the Drake and Josh video in the comments, but to be honest, that's a whole situation. To give a TLDR, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to remake the whole video. Trust me, this was not by choice, as I was practically forced into doing it, but I'll make a whole video about that situation if you guys want me to. And as always, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas Eve with your family and friends. So, peace.